Welcome to the Reddit Medic. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to have the best sleep tonight. r/AskReddit. What is something that your parents did that you swore never to repeat to your own kids? Redo things they've done because it's not the exact way I would have done it. My mom would fold the laundry or make my bed. Drove me nuts and made me feel like why even bother trying? I sometimes wonder if I was affected by this same kind of thing. Not exactly the same, but essentially, when I was a kid, my mom would tell me to clean my room and make my bed. I'd do exactly that to the best of my ability. Then I'd go get her so she could tell me if I was done. It almost never failed. She'd tell me that my room wasn't clean enough and my bed wasn't made enough. Then I was left to try to figure out what I was missing. I would try straightening things more, then get her again, and she'd tell me the room still wasn't clean enough and the bed not made enough. I would just feel baffled because I had no idea what more I could do before it was enough. I felt like there was some invisible mess that she could see, but somehow I couldn't. I couldn't understand what I was missing, and it would never be explained to me exactly what still needed to be straightened up, or what part of my bed still needed to be made. So now as an adult, in just about any context, I often have this underlying self-doubt that I am missing something, somehow, and I can't trust myself to know when I've done enough. Try to be controlling over my kid's life and blame all their problems on the other parent. Dude, when I was 15, my dad, an MD, decided to have a meeting with me to discuss my future and make a choice what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a programmer so bad. I loved that shit. So I said programming software engineering. He went on for over an hour how that profession is lame and you'll always be behind the scenes unrecognized. This was back in 2004. How wrong was he? So, I didn't know what to tell him. I remember my cousin, who was a few years older at the time, told me accounting would be a good fit for me if I didn't know what to pick. It would be easy for me and I'd fly through my degree. So I remembered that and said, alright, I'll go into accounting. He literally exploded in my face, yelling and shouting how could I throw my future away. I was scared of him. I never was close to him. He barely spent time with me my entire life. This grown-ass man was never there for me but decided to control my life. I knew what he wanted me to say. I just wanted the yelling and shouting to stop and I wanted him to calm down. So, I said defeatedly, okay, I'll be a doctor. He immediately turned around, smiled happy and congratulated me. I felt what it's like to have a part of me die that day. I wasted 3 years of life on med school before I was like duck this shit, got depressed and asked my sister to help me convince him to transfer over to engineering school, but my life was never the same. And my psyche was changed as well. I easily give up now, more irritable, can't sleep well at all, etc. So I get what you mean. My kids will choose what they want to be even if it's ducking curling. Refused to admit I was wrong. The only semblance of an apology I've ever received from my mother was, "I'm sorry you feel that way." I don't think she's ever actually apologized or taken blame for her actions in my 30-odd conscious years. If I ever outsmarted my mom, it was considered attitude. I get her thought process. She of course had been around longer than a 13-year-old. So clearly there's nothing I could say to her she didn't already know, and she obviously knows better than me. My mom also never apologized. If it ever became clear she was in the wrong, she'd laugh and say she didn't remember saying that, or I must have had some sort of attitude and that's why she acted upset. That is not the philosophy I will bring to my kids. It's gonna be a learning experience for the both of us. My dad would get mad at me sometimes too. And a lot of those times were warranted, and a lot were not. Anytime I proved him wrong, he'd apologize immediately, and leave it at that. One time when I was around 15, we were both being dickheads and didn't speak for a night. In retrospect, I was the main dickhead, but he was a close second. He came in the next day and apologized anyway. He told me he was the adult in the situation and he hadn't been. He hated things being off with us, and he loved me. That is exactly how I hope to be with my kids. Learning about and trying to apply stoicism really helped me as a parent. Kids can be annoying. It's easy to fly off the handle and get mad, but most of the time they don't mean to be. They are just kids. The thing that stuck with me is the idea that there are two ways to react to any situation. a good way and a bad way, and we always have a choice as to which we go with. It's one of the few things we do have a choice over, our thoughts and actions. So, strive to always choose the good way, and you'll be a better parent and person for it. Be unapproachable. Come talk to me anytime about anything. Everything can be fixed. My son hides things from his mom and waits until he can tell me because she won't respond appropriately. He lost a video game and was lying to her about having lost it, but was so scared that she would find out he was lying. He told me in the car when I picked him up, and I told her I needed to look for something of his that he wanted. All he ended up doing was having it wedged in his game case where he couldn't see it. My 6-year-old was giving himself anxiety because of a stupid Nintendo Switch game because his mom would have belittled and spanked him instead of helping look for it. It breaks my heart. Edit. We're divorced. Lecture. My mom could go on for hours for even small misbehaviors. Somehow, it usually looped around to how I didn't keep my room clean, even though the rest of the house was just as much of a mess or worse. When I need to have a stern or serious discussion with my kids, I force myself to make my point in 5 minutes or less. I've even said stuff like, "Look, this is taking way too long, just don't do disallowed thing again." Okay, I also apologize if I yell as soon as I am emotionally able to after an angry outburst. I don't remember mom ever doing that. I received so many lectures that went on for ages while just repeating the same things over and over again. It was so frustrating to hear something said for the 14th time asked if I understood, and even when a yes answer was given the lecture still continued. This is so relatable. If I were to tell my mum that she was going on and on about something little, she would only start complaining even louder. Not be affectionate. My mom was very distant and not a physically emotional person with me growing up. I realized that if I have kids I'd want to read to them, hug them, celebrate their accomplishments, overall have them feel comfortable with me to share their thoughts or feelings. Edit. Whoa. Was not expecting any of the comments or upvotes at all. I just post and keep it moving, but you know what? Hugs for all, only if you consent. I enjoyed reading some of the comments so far and will continue. This has been the most affection I've gotten in quarantine, so I hope you're all doing better than I am. My husband expressed one time how his family wasn't a hugger type family when he grew up, and so he hugs me all the time. When my youngest was little he is a total man's boy and would get jealous and run in between us, which would lead to the eldest and the dog joining the fun. This has led to hug time. Exactly like the Trolls movie. Someone calls hug time. That's it, you drop everything and hug. The dog even knows this statement. My parents tried to force me to be what they wanted me to be. I was never going to be that person. It bothered me late into my adult life that I was never the person they wanted. All because I wanted different things out of life. It caused me years of depression, anxiety, and apathy. Because of this, I swore I would never force anything upon my children. I swore I would give them every opportunity to be themselves and be a part of whatever activity they wanted to do. For the most part this has worked out. I only struggle with one decision by one child. Part of what my parents imposed on me was forbidding everything. I wanted to play sports, act, and sing. None of those things were allowed. So naturally when my kids wanted to act, play instruments, sing in chorus, and be on sports teams, I was overjoyed. The trouble is I have this one very talented football player who doesn't want to play football. This has been very difficult to accept, but I have pushed down my own desires. Again, it hasn't been easy. The boy isn't just good, he is all state as a freshman good. He is able to compete against guys in higher leagues good. He won a nice stack of trophies while he was playing, and now he says he doesn't like it. I can see him playing football to earn a free college degree. I can even see him having the potential to be a professional. And it's not me making it up. He is for real, but he doesn't want to play. My dream would be to be in his shoes, but he simply hates everything that surrounds football. So I stuff down the disappointment of not getting to watch my son play football at a high level and replace it with pride that he can stand up for himself and say what he wants. He is facing tremendous peer pressure to continue playing. Grown men are calling him stupid. His mother is offering him money to play, but he wants to do other things, and I'm not going to be the one who forces him to do something else. If I respect his wishes and let him decide his own life, he may lead himself back to football. Whether he does or does not will not make a difference to me now. The hardest thing as a parent is letting go. I have 4 wonderful kids and letting them be themselves has already led them to be happier than I ever was. Take it. All my respect and admiration. It's yours now. That was emotional. How about you tell a loved one how much they mean to you today? Do one kind act for your friends or family. Make sure to like and subscribe for more daily videos. This is the Reddit Medic. It's a goddamn pandemic. Sub for daily videos. And don't forget to spread it. I'm AskReddit. Peace.